Okay, everybody, it's Scrypto Birb, Adrian speaking straight from Poland. Kind of like a bad weather going on today, grayish, but when now that I'm pretty much like back from Dubai, it takes about 30 Celsius degrees, 30 Celsius degrees, kind of like a difference. The amplitude is hugely unbearable to me as we speak right now. But today we have a very special game that comes every month, that comes once in a month. And it's a special day because I'm here with my good friend, Piers Ridyard, CEO of Radixdlt. And we're going to give you guys the very brief update, the monthly recap for what's streaming, for what's coming, what's hot about Radix DLT right now. And everybody, if you are in for the ride, make sure to stay with us because we are actually getting started right in a moment. Beautiful. There are about 400 people right now at this moment, and it's counting. It's growing very fast. Like a minute ago, I was checking; it was about 100 people. So it's growing very very fast, very rapidly. Good for us. Good for ratings. Good for everybody who's following the Bird Nest YouTube account. If you are new, just before we get it going, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the likes, because Piers is going to dedicate his very precious time to us, to everybody who's the fan of Radix DLT and who's yet to become a fan, because this is definitely going to make you one for the show. And Piers, first of all, very good to see you after monthly time of kind of like absence between like just on the show. So
yeah, it's great to be.
It's
great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And it's weird because actually for you've had a full month, and for me, I had some surgery, and so I've just recovered, and now I'm coming back to it, and like everything, like it's kind of amazing to see the crypto market like with that gap, because you come back in and so much has happened, but at the same time so little happens. Like there's just so much noise, and then like very little, everything just moves forwards a little bit, and it's great to be back. Great to be back on the show. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I love it. And for everybody kind of like who's new, I just want to tell you that, these monthly recaps with Piers are for me are kind of like very special, because I and Piers kind of like apparently get along very well. We love talking to each other, and I love, just hearing about the updates, and I love pretty much bringing all the good positive news to everybody out there, in this crypto world. And speaking of the updates of the news, like if we were to give to everybody who's new, who's just joined, who is perhaps not familiar too much with Radix, let's perhaps, Piers, give them a very brief update on what's new, like what's happened in the past weeks, past month.
Sure, it's been a big thing that's happened in the last month. So when we launched Radix, we launched Radix, the mainnet, and the ERC20 token, which is basically the wrapped version of the Radix token on Ethereum, with this different type of unlocking mechanism that allowed the token to be gradually unlocked into the market and build sort of the decentralization and security of the network over time. We've been blown away by how quickly that grew for the Radix network naturally. Like we hit well over our target for great community validators. There was like 350 people who applied to be validators, who sort of like put forward to the community and said, hey, we'd like to be validators. It's permissionless network. Anyone can set up a validator. Don't want anyone to go, well, you have to apply to be a validator. No, as in like put forward proposals to the community to be like, hey, stake to us. When the network went live, we were $100 million worth of Radix staked on the network almost immediately. The decentralization has been growing steadily. So we were like, hey, let's accelerate this even faster, because Babylon is coming, right? Babylon, which is when the full decentralized finance capabilities of Radix comes online next year. We want the network to be as strong as possible for that. So we went to the community and we're like, what if we just unlocked all the tokens? We're at 35% unlocked. What if we just unlocked them all? What do people think? And then let all of the tokens into the market so that we could accelerate the decentralization security of the network and get us to that, magic $1 billion staked number that we'd like to get to, or beyond, right? And so we decided that we would try it, we'd put it out to the community, we'd do a survey, we'd ask everyone, we'd be like, hey, what do you think? And the response was overwhelming. Everyone was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And we thought maybe if we released 75% more supply to the market, that would have a massive impact. And the impact we expected, i.e., load more liquidity coming onto the market, the price goes down, hasn't happened. We've ended up going up 40% since unlock. Our volume at maximum tipped over $63 million traded volume, which is insane. Obviously, we're a bit down from there now, but yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone in the community who was part of the discussions in making that happen. And I'm just so happy to see, how great this is, how positive it's been for the community, and how positive it's been for the network. And it just makes me so much more confident about the security and the decentralization of the network, going into Babylon next year.
Yeah, that sounds actually very, very right. And before we get kind of through the sweet details, perhaps about the most recent, Radixdlt month, the report. This is the chart. This is the actual point that Piers was making about this insane growth. I was actually many people perhaps might have seen my video the other day. It was on September 14th, the day before the unlock happened on the 15th. And I was updating, everybody with how enormous growth and effort Radixdlt had seen right before the unlock, and that the unlock itself kind of was a result of this voting, with the respect to what voters, to what stakeholders had, for the decision. And I was to be honest expecting more dumps. I was expecting more more crash, perhaps. I was getting ready to see some sweeter dips, even sweeter. And eventually we got like this tiny, perhaps what was that? Momentary, very brief moment that literally was bought back so fast. And I don't know how much impact my video has had so far, but I do have a good dose of certainty that at least some of the people followed actually the video, listened to the video, heard me speak about getting ready for the dip. And it does really seem that a lot of people bought the dip well, right? Yeah. This is the insane growth that Piers has been saying. And eventually for the technical breakdown, we're not going too much to give full let's say details about how insanely undervalued the Radix token for the XRD, with the E and the XRD alone, how the overall XRD Radix ecosystem right now is, and it's definitely valued very, very low at this moment. It's undervalued in my pure personal opinion. And I repeated so many times in it before, that back in 2017, I remember seeing the coins, which is funny because we are actually at the extremely similar, kind of like a season, time of a year, time of a bull market cycle, where I could expect things to repeat. And I saw a lot of those charts. I see a lot of those, kind of completely flat accumulation processes going on with extremely undervalued, fundamentally, just good, amazing projects that out of which Radixdlt is and to which it belongs. And not long after, because it was 2 months after, we actually saw 20x rallies from that, right? So I would not be surprised. This is of course not a financial advice, but I would not be surprised that eventually, after we break out successfully, of this accumulation range, this entire thing is an accumulation range. This does not trend. This has not even started trending up just yet. Okay, and we are talking about huge portion of money. So the way I interpret it as a technical analysis, kind of it is just this spring kind of getting squeezed. That once you release the tension, once you release the squeeze, the force holding it all back, let's say for the price, this is literally going to go nuts. This is my personal viewpoint. I do believe that as many charts I had seen before that looked similar to this, I can see this repeat for
it looks so similar to Cardano's early chart. like when like if you look at Cardano's chart, it's insane. There's just like this long, it's a very long accumulation phase, and then it just goes nuts.
Exactly. That couldn't be, that couldn't be truer. And how about Piers? Because definitely, there's been this amazing, um, overall, I would say, success for the token unlock itself, right?
Mm.
But there's also been like, around, apart from the token unlock itself, while this was definitely price wise and investment wise, out of for main within the main interest, I was very interested to see how the market would react, and it reacted very well.
Yeah.
And but there were also many other processes going on, like parallelly on the side for Radix. Could you tell me a little bit more about what is currently going on? Like, what are your short-term plans for for the next days?
Sure. So like the big thing that's coming, I mean, there's been a bunch of stuff that's been going on in the background. We've basically I think it's more than doubled our Twitter followers in the last like 2-3 months. We're coming up on 80,000 followers, which is awesome. This has just been and the engagement has stayed high, and we've been getting lots more sort of like retweets and likes and all that kind of stuff, which is fantastic. Just because in terms of the engagement with Radix the brand, Radix the message, and getting more new community members in, which has been great to see. We've been doing a bunch of like tech debt pay down essentially on the mainnet. So one of the big things has been optimizing our APIs for the mainnet, so that people can more easily integrate services that they want to on top of the Radix network. So those updates are going to be coming out soon. And there's been a bunch of movement on the community side as well, with Turkey, Indonesia, China. There's been a bunch of stuff that's been going on there. Indonesia has been insane. We've had 70% growth in there. Turkey has been sort of fantastic as well. And China we're just getting started with. And then on the actual technical delivery side of things, as we've always said we're going to do, this year is the year of launching Scrypto, which is the language that we've built specifically to build decentralized finance. I spent sort of a few weeks ago, I spent a week with the build team, who's focusing on the language, and I am so excited about this language. It's coming out right at the end of this year, and it's in my view is a game changer in terms of how easy it is to build decentralized finance using this language. Like, if you're a developer out there and you look at Solidity and you actually look at it properly, like how difficult it is to build a finance application, and you put that next to like something like Aave or Uniswap on Ethereum using Solidity, and then you put that next to Scrypto, the difference is night and day. Like we say, it's a 10x in increase in productivity, but I think we're being conservative in that. Like, honestly, it's such an exciting new invention that is going to be coming to the market that we think is just going to completely change the game. That's coming out at the end of this year. What I'm going to say is there'll be some more information about this soon. It's not yet announced. But if you're going to be in New York City, either November the 12th or November the 19th, there may be something happening. So save that date in your diary. I won't say any more on what's going to happen yet, but just like keep that to one side. But yeah, I think this last quarter of the year, you're going to start to see really some of this engineering thinking that has gone, the innovation that's gone into Scrypto, and then finally the Scrypto language itself, which I think is going to be amazing for the decentralized finance industry. And we're just so pleased to be able to get that out there.
I love it, and this somehow very well aligns with my overall like market expectations. I do believe that historically Bitcoin, and well, being the main driver for the entire market, but also like naturally altcoins and the DeFi and NFTs, all of that has been of a hot topic, very trending, and I mean like very mainstream trends going on. Usually for late Q4, right, which is November, December, and like, take it with, of course, with the pinch of salt. But if I'm talking about this 20x like movements, then I could potentially think of in November and December when that happens. And just for your information, I had not spoken to Piers about like my price or charts concepts before. I'm just literally giving it all to you, everybody, on the silver plate right now, just sharing kind of like my thoughts, my opinions. But if I'm being completely honest with you, everybody, I do believe that if it is to pull like 20x or something, I do count for it to become, to come and arrive November, December, which additionally just again has the very common thesis with what Piers has just shared with everybody, right? Because not only like the insane growth, the insane recognition on social media for you said 80,000 like followers, but right now the last like before I checked it was literally 84.3.
84. Oh, we got over it. Oh my God, I didn't even realize. Amazing.
It's hardly
84. They've built an unstoppable machine.
I love it. And for the video that I was talking about, there was this there is this video alone that I was mentioning, perhaps about Radix, but there was this update that I posted on Twitter, this video about the token unlock, right? And like there were some what was that? Like impressions, some insane impressions going on, some insane traction and engagement from the people. People literally loved it, right? And what I'm just thinking is that crowds are slowly starting to recognize Radix to be put in a position where the spotlight, where it really belongs to the spotlight, where it's really, you guys supposed to be in the best spotlight, and the market just does not see that yet from the technical point of view, from the market point of view, right? Which is kind of like a different discussion to be had. But you guys are not stopping. You are unstoppable, just like you said, and this overall update, if we go to the again to the blog alone, Turkey, I'm really impressed with what Turkey has been doing, for crypto recently. Like these guys, like Turkish people, are really on fire. They are like perhaps like they've been so much. By the way, I said on fire. I think this would be unlucky because, correct me if I'm wrong, but there wasn't there recently some wildfires spreading.
Yeah, I think like part of the reason that Turkey is so keen on crypto is partly because there's a lot of problems in the country, and like so this idea of being able to create some kind of alternative system that doesn't have the ability for third parties to come in and mess around with it, be that a store of value, be that some way of saving, be that some way of like protecting yourself and your family from the worst that could happen. I think these are all things that create that push forwards in the consciousness of the minds of the people. And like Turkey, incredibly well-educated population, incredibly sort of technically savvy. So I'm not surprised that they've gone down the crypto rabbit hole. And I think that there are more like Turkish people per capita that are like crypto savvy than you'll find in places like America or in the UK, because like we're so well served in these countries with our existing infrastructure. Yeah, it's kind of sucks, but at the same time, you don't feel like an authoritarian regime may come and take it away at any point. That risk is increasing, which I think is why like there's more of this idea of, hey, maybe crypto is more than just like this internet play money. Maybe it's actually something that the world needs. Maybe it's a way of it. Maybe it's a way it says safety from tyranny. Maybe it's a way of protecting yourself. And so like I love to see this. This is amazing. But it also really speaks to what the mission of Radix is. Our mission is to obsolete traditional finance. Our mission is to create a decentralized public infrastructure where you can trust that your money is safe. That we're not there yet. Like this is a long road, and we got an incredible roadmap that spans many years for us to be able to get there. So I'm not saying that it's safe today, but I'm saying that this is what we're trying to do. And like this community engagement shows us that we're sort of hitting that concept of proof of technology delivery along a roadmap, along with sort of like really chiming with what the undercurrent of why everyday people are getting more and more interested in crypto is.
I love it. I love it. I love this approach. And to be honest, again, with all my love, I believe that Turkey is one of the crypto leaders right now. I mean,
Mm,
honestly, I wish my country ever got to this level of interest, like public interest, this level of realization that um, sadly, more likely than not, and more often than not, the governments don't really want us to succeed, and
no,
instead they would just want you to pay more taxes, right? So I think this is a global thing, and then Turkey people, like Turkish people, are literally going very fast about the adoption for the crypto. I think I'd spoken to a couple of local Turkish people, and they were really confirming what you just said, Piers. And yeah, guys, if some of you again are of course just near the fires, if it's still the fire time, because I literally kind of just like recalled that they wouldn't post too much media information, in my country around Turkey, which kind of sucks, but that's the way it is. I just want to get my sincere love to everybody and hope you guys are taking the best precautions, staying safe out there. Nature becomes wild at times. We have to be always sure that we are well protected. And that being said, as well, Indonesia as well, just like you said, 70% increase for the Indonesian community engagement. I mean, this is the next point on the map that my eyes literally started noticing more and more in the past weeks, months. Indonesian people as well are really discovering crypto on a major, massive scale,
right,
and
right.
I love it. I very
Right,
much
and
love
they
it.
don't have the infrastructure. Right, Indonesia is a cash economy. It has been until very recently, and things like Gojek and stuff like that are starting to get people familiar with the concept of credit balances rather than cash. But like Indonesia, you went to Indonesia 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You pay everything in cash, and I think they're going to make a leapfrog. I think they're going to like skip banking and cards and going to go
Mhm.
straight to crypto payments because it just makes so much sense for their country and for their economy. And so that yeah, I agree. Like it's a country that is looking at other countries and going, well, why can't I just open an app and pay for a thing? And it's like, well, you
Hmm.
don't have the infrastructure. And it's like, well, we don't have the legacy. So let's completely leapfrog. And I think you're seeing that growing very quickly.
That's very right. That's very right. And funny thing, like just to kind of like close on this very like topic, but I have, as I said, I had just come back from Dubai, and there was like in the middle of the, let's say, marina kind of like center, the Dubai Marina, beautiful place. There was literally a beautifully designed skyscraper, like bureau offices. Like I guess it was like 60 floors, and this was DCC. It was Dubai Crypto Center, like
Okay.
entire beautiful building dedicated to crypto space. It's crypto space to crypto people, to
Wow.
crypto companies. And honestly, like, I'm a very patriotic person. I'm Polish. I'm very patriotic about where I come from, and I just wish that one day my country noticed and recognized the insane potential that Turkey and Indonesia and other countries has already noticed for crypto. And this is my biggest wish. And speaking of the wishes of the future, Pierce, I just want to take and dedicate the last 3-4 minutes, perhaps, to get to all of our viewers and listeners, kind of like what they can expect to see coming from you in the next weeks, next months, perhaps. Well, what are your key takeaways, conclusions, perhaps, for the next upcoming weeks, periods?
I'd say like just get involved in the Radix community. If there was any time that you wanted to be part of the birth of something completely new and see and be part of a community that is passionate about not just following what everyone has done so far, but going, no, this sucks. Solidity sucks. Let's rethink this and then make this into something that is a joy to use. And you want to be part, like I got involved early in the Ethereum community. I was there before. I was going to the meetups. As soon as Ethereum launched, I was at the meetups in London when it was like 9 people and above a pub, and the floor was sticky. And like
Always.
the thing that I remember more than anything else about the growth of the community of that period was, I'm not a developer. I wasn't there just for the developer. Like it was the exchange of ideas and the possibilities that opened up once you created this new toolbox. And that's what's about to happen with Radix. We're not all the way there, right? The launch of the language isn't the language being able to build stuff on top of the Radix network. That comes in Babylon next year, but the launch of the language is the start of that, the spark of what it means to truly build decentralized finance in a way that makes sense to of any developer. And then what's that going to mean in terms of the open possibilities of, like, you think that DeFi is interesting now with all of these barriers. What happens when you start knocking them down? And like, just come on our Discord, come on our Telegram, and like just follow us on Twitter, and just come and be part of seeing where this is going next, because we think it's incredibly exciting. It's definitely the coolest thing that we've brought out so far, and like it's coming at the end of this year. And like, for you to properly understand what this opportunity means, you need to start following what we're going to be putting out over the next few months, in terms of, so you can understand really why Scrypto is so special. And so that's it. Like, Scrypto's coming. Thank you so much to all of the community for all of the hard work you've done in terms of getting us past the unlock and like the incredible performance post that. Like, just incredibly blessed and happy, and so glad to be back on my feet as well.
Yeah,
and thank you for having me as well. I always love talking.
Yeah. Yeah. It's as I said, I love this chemistry. We are like, I don't know, there's a flip and flap, maybe like kind of like a chemistry, like very, very good. Pleasure I always have, to talk to you about the monthly recap, for Radixdlt. And everybody, like, perhaps we'll take one question. I think there was one very valid question actually in like within the chat, asking about the listings. Like, are there any listings, guys, that you're planning?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a lot of our work has been, because we launched our mainnet, when you launch a mainnet, you have to actually do quite a lot of integration work to get network platforms, exchanges to integrate a new layer 1. Right, so it's not just an ERC20 token, which is like the flip of a switch. It's super easy for most exchanges. So what we've been doing is we've been working with the exchanges that we already have to get the integrations done. We've already done Bitfinex. That was the first one, and then we're going to be following up with a few more. That's been pending the updates to the APIs that I was talking about earlier on the call, and like that's been our main focus. And then I would say that probably towards the end of the year that there'll be a couple more coming out. But yeah, the listings are an interesting one, because they don't always do what people think they're going to do. Like, we've spent, listings not cheap, and it doesn't always have any effect. Obviously, there's the big ones like Binance and Coinbase that normally have a positive effect. Binance, not always. There's the Binance effect this year has been negative for a lot of projects. But obviously we're still working on getting our Binance listing, getting our Coinbase listing, and there's lots of hurdles to get through with them, not least, again, the extra engineering time of integrating a layer 1, so it's more complicated, and that's been fun to and fro. But I can't promise any of the big ones coming up soon, but we continue to have conversations with them, and I'm sure that they'll list us when they're good and ready.
I'll take it as an answer, Piers, on behalf of my own, and I believe on behalf of the entire community. Yeah, and I definitely appreciate your time. I think your time is very precious, and I want to appreciate it. I want to acknowledge that, and I want to make sure that entire community just shares their love with you. And so, if you are guys new, if you enjoy this monthly very recap with Piers, and appreciate time that Piers dedicates to inform you about the latest, hottest, trending topics for Radixdlt, hit us, smash the like buttons, hit that subscribe buttons. Just let's kick off the YouTube algos and put it, just send it to the moon. And everybody, I believe that this has been like very enjoyable session, update, monthly recap that I had with Piers. And I want to as well appreciate it and thank you, Piers, for being here, for dedicating your time. And well, onwards and upwards. And I see you on the next one in some
Thank
time.
you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Stay safe, guys, everybody. Cheers. That's all. Bye.